everybody, and welcome back to the Blu-ray Hunter. I'm the Blu-ray Hunter, Jonathan Moody, and here is a interesting review. We're going to be talking about the 1990 film Monday Morning, put out by MVD Entertainment, and also known as Class of, oh God, Class of Fear. Yeah, I didn't watch the Class of Fear one, but I did watch Monday Morning, and that was enough. I so to understand this, like I had to watch like the behind the scenes with the interview with the director and understand a little bit more about it, but kind of wish there was like an actual, I don't think there's an actual commentary track. No. So there's a VHS version of Class of Fear, so you could watch it and it'll look like a VHS, which is kind of cool. But Monday morning is so they all set up this whole Monday morning. And by the way, there will be spoilers. Just warning you guys, there will be spoilers. Uh, just no way around that with this story. I have to explain things. So Monday morning, it's set up where like that Monday morning, there's going to be a sort of a what is it? There's um somebody's bringing a gun to school. So I'm trying not to spoil it, but I'm not going to be able to. The whole idea is that there's supposed to be some kind of like hostage situation at the school with a gun on Monday morning. And so we're all sort of set up for that. Everything's going to escalate that Monday morning. But we get like a few days before then, maybe like the week before, and there's this new kid, and he looks like something out of like Head of the Class, or it's that guy right there. He looks sort of like a 50s style dude. And actually, the movie feels very like 50s style, to be honest. So yeah, there's a 50s style kind of feel to it. Um, and he's like wants to date the hot chick in the school, but he's the new guy in school because he transferred from another school because he was the bad kid at that school, so he had to transfer to another school. And so he becomes friends with like the outsiders, go back to like the 50s, kind of the outsiders, the people who sort of don't fit in with the rest of the groups because they all, I guess, came from different schools or just moved there. But the whole idea is they don't like people that aren't from the town. Like the town doesn't like people that aren't from the town, which is very weird. I've never heard of a town that did that, but I mean that could very well be a thing. I just never heard of it. And it's never been part of my story or anybody I know's story. Nobody I know has ever said, "Yeah, we never liked anybody who ever came from out of town." Like that's weird. I live in a tourist town, so you know, we're used to people being from outside and people transferring, coming over here. We don't care, you know. As long as they're cool, we don't care. If they're not cool, we care. And so they end up, you know, so the rich kids in the town get really upset, and they're I call them like the preppies. Like they're the preppies. The other guys are like the rebels, and stuff. The preppies and the rebels don't like each other. And so so he decides to date a preppy girl. And she happens to also be the brother of like the lead preppy, this blonde douchebag guy. And so he gets into like this um they kind of go out and it becomes like a war, like he starts going on their turf. It's once again very 50s style. Starts going to their little uh club. It was like a rich person's club, I guess. Somehow or another they just get in, and when I forgot why, but they just get in, or how they just get in. And it's okay. And then he gets his friends to come in at one point, and then that's when like all hell breaks loose. and his girlfriend's friend has been being very flirty with him because he's a musician and he's not the preppy guy. So she's just, kind of tired of that guy. And she ends up getting drunk and they're in a car and she ends up uh messing him up because trying to, I guess, give him a blowjob while he is driving and stuff, and he just all of a sudden a car gets in the way and then crash, and the girl is almost dead but doesn't die. So he goes to jail, and her mouth's wired shut. There's all these issues, and so the preppy guy whose girlfriend he had almost killed gets really upset and wants to scare this guy, I guess, but also teach him a lesson. So they go and they bring a gun to school on that Monday morning. Jason Lively's in it too, by the way, which is so weird because he's like obviously in his at least late 20s by that time, playing, a teenager still. And I'm just like, it's 1990. When was fucking fake vacation? Like the first vacation, I think no, he was in European vacation. So I don't know, but he was so Rusty Griswold is there, and he's trying to stop everybody from going crazy, and the guy pulls it, has a gun or whatever. Things go nuts. They accidentally shoot a teacher. The preppy guy says he's dead, even though he wasn't, and just so they can blame it all on the rebel guy. And the rebel guy is the whole time is like super pissed and holding these kids hostage and all this shit. And there's a chick I always remember from Melrose Place, Rena, um, something Rena, Lisa Rena, I think is her name. And she's in it, and she's just like this preppy girl, very cute, whatever. I think it was before she really started doing stuff to her face, like making her lips all pouty and shit and stuff. She was young. Which was pre her being on Melrose Place. And so they sort of have this like stuff, the hostage situation, and the cop is actually his son is there being held hostage, and he's one of the preppy guys. And it escalates to a gunshot from a sniper, whatever, a sharpshooter who shoots the main kid. I think his name was Brian, I want to say. I could be totally wrong. Um, but so anyway, they shoot him and he ends up, or Bobby, something like that. I thought it started with a B. But anyway, so he shoots him and then they find out that the teacher was still alive. So he can, at the end of the thing, they give a whole thing where it said that uh, the teacher said, who shot him, which is that other guy or whatever, that was an accident. And everybody got let off. And by the end of the movie, like it didn't even really matter. Like the other guy left, the preppy guy left, but nothing changed. Everybody still hated outsiders, and the outsiders still didn't fit in with with that blah blah blah. Okay, what's the message? What was the point? I'm not saying you have to be on a soapbox and you have to scream out, this is how I think everything should be. No, 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 no. But at least give us some kind of message, some kind of like understanding of what's going on. It was very, it wasn't, it just what the ending just was unsatisfying, you know? Um, it's very unsatisfying. Um, I just felt like there should have definitely have been more at stake. I felt like everything sort of just wrapped itself up and then nothing changed. So then like what was what was the point? Like, I wish that there was something that he did to change everybody and everything to do something. And maybe the point is that nothing ever really changes, or whatever. Some people are just never going to change. But like that's not even really spelled out that way. So it just felt really sort of like they couldn't figure out a real true good ending to the movie. Um and it sort of was depressing and like on that. But like this shows a guy with a gun and the outfit sort of suggests this is bad marketing, by the way, but the outfit suggests that it's the bat at the whatever the guy. And so my whole idea and thought was like this is going to be a school shooting movie. This is going to be about a guy who goes crazy at school because he's bullied or picked on or not treated right, and he goes on a killing spree. Sort of like how Columbine actually ended up happening. And this was pre-Columbine, so this is like 1990, and this really felt like movie of the week, after school special, you know, um, Lifetime. Like this would be something that they'd show on Lifetime right now. Uh, it wasn't, it wasn't, for an independent film made on not a lot of money, you know, I think they said like $100,000 or something. And a lot of that was begged, borrowed, and stolen. Well, not stolen, but begged and borrowed from people and everything. And he said like I think he said he actually got the money back for it, which like he got, but it never made like a profit. Um, which uh, awesome that that they were able to pay back the investors. That's the greatest thing, but you want a profit. Sadly, but I can see why. It's sort of like if he had sold this to Lifetime now, uh, maybe maybe it would have been a little bit different of a story, but it could have they could do it like the wrong. Well, I think there already was one, but like the wrong student or whatever kind of thing. Like I think it would work. But this movie itself is just meh. Like I wanted so bad to enjoy it. I really did. I thought it could have been a lot better, but it's just overall it had it just didn't do anything for me. Um, and uh I hope other people got into it or liked it. I mean, obviously it's got enough of a big following that MVD wanted, and the producer of this or director of this is a producer of like the Transformers movies and stuff. So he's gone on to bigger and better things. Like Monday Morning isn't like a one and done deal. Like the right after this he did um Oliver Stone's movie Natural Born Killers, which seemed like this could have been Natural Born Killers. If they had really gone more dark, you know, and everything. Because that's sort of what you need to do if for indie films, to stand out, is you need to go dark. Because the thing is, everybody this feels like Hollywood would have just said, yeah, rejected this because it's whatever. But if you make your own movie and it's dark and twisted, and I remember that guy, the writer director who later became the producers of Transformers, Don Murphy, said that he had an idea for like a darker version, and then he was told not to do that. And I think that was a big mistake. Like I think if he had gone, I think the him holding the gun in the picture, if that was like actual thing of the movie is him going in there and just shooting people because, the people that like, harmed him, it would have had a bigger impact, especially back then, because you don't really, there probably was school shootings, but they weren't nearly as common as they are now. Nowadays, you can't make this movie. Just can't. It will not fly. Um, and that's why I sort of I mean, I hate to say it, but I kind of like watching these like school shooting kind of movies. And I'm gonna do another one at some point for Blu-ray Hunter called New Southport. And I like that because it's sort of a glimpse of what people used to do that people don't do anymore, you know? People will not make that because they're just too common now that people don't want to see it. They there there have to be something completely interesting that sort of takes everybody's mind off the fact that this happens every fucking week, it almost feels like, which is sad. And people are fighting gun control and all this shit. Like this stuff, it would be like doing a police academy movie today. Like you just can't do it, really. Like because people, unless it was so wacky that the police are just a lovable goose or some kind of lovable goose, even then, people won't want to watch it because people don't like police officers right now. So school shootings and police officers definitely aren't a thing that people are, you know. Um, so anyway, the point is, this movie was okay and had okay moments, but really, I didn't really enjoy it. I think, uh, I think if they had gone darker with the film and had the subject be like more menacing and scary, I think, you know, I think the movie would have been better. But fortunately, we never got any of that, and I mean, it was just ridiculous. Just became a point where it was just drama, like melodrama. If you like melodrama, you'll love this movie. There's nothing but it. Like pretty much people bickering, or people getting into fights over, stupid stuff or things like that. So, well, I mean, it's not the worst movie I've ever seen, but it's definitely by far not one of the best. Was not into it. So anyway, with that being said, thank you guys for checking this out. I hope you enjoyed it. Bye.